Detroit just got the kind of quiet chance that can change a season. A legitimate starting tackle is sitting there on the market, and almost nobody is talking about how perfectly he fits what the Lions want to be up front. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. I'm here once again as your Lions-obsessed host, bringing you daily updates, inside buzz, and honest analysis about our team, like a real conversation between fans who live this every day. Today I want to walk you through a move that, on the surface, looks like a small rumor from another locker room. But when you put the pieces together, it starts to look like the exact type of late October decision that can protect Jared Goff, keep this offense on schedule, and carry our physical identity all the way into January. The trade deadline is coming fast, and this is when serious teams stop chasing only fantasy football names and start looking at where games are actually won. For the Lions, that answer has been clear since Dan Campbell arrived. The offensive line is the heartbeat of everything. When this group is healthy, we run the ball with attitude. Goff is comfortable. The play-action game opens up, and Ben Johnson can empty the call sheet. When injuries hit or depth gets thin, the whole structure trembles. We've already had enough dings and scares up front this season to know that one more injury at tackle could flip a dominant offense into survival mode in a hurry. That's why I'm so focused on one specific type of move right now. Not a splashy receiver, not a luxury piece, but an insurance policy on the edge that can also push for real snaps. You want someone who has started games in this league, who has seen top edge rushers, who understands what it's like to protect on obvious passing downs when the defense knows the ball is in the air. You also want somebody young enough to still grow and cheap enough in draft capital that you're not mortgaging the future. And right now, because of a very particular situation in Chicago, that exact profile exists and is realistic. Over there, a tackle who started multiple seasons has lost his job. The Bears chose to roll with Theo Benedette, and that pushed a former starter to the sideline. Earlier in the year, he battled an ankle problem. Now he's healthy, and he's playing on an expiring contract. Rival front offices see the same pattern. This is a logical trade chip. He's not a Pro Bowler, but he's not a camp body either. On film, you see an easy mover on the edge, with the feet to slide, mirror, and recover. He isn't a pure power mauler, and yes, he can struggle when bigger rushers get into his chest, but the baseline is clear. He knows how to play tackle in this league. The tracking data backs that up with a pass block win rate this season, a little above 90% in the games he has played. When the ball is snapped and the quarterback drops back, most of the time he's simply doing his job. Now, let's put a name on it, because you know where this is going. I'm talking about Braxton Jones, offensive tackle for the Chicago Bears, a player other teams are already circling as a sensible trade target. He started on the left side. He has real mileage against NFL rushers, and he's at that stage of his career where a change of scenery can completely reset the narrative. From Chicago's point of view, keeping him as a backup in a contract year makes little sense. From Detroit's point of view, this is exactly the kind of situation you're supposed to attack if you believe your window is open right now. Think about the fit with the Lions for a second. Penei Sewell is locked in as a franchise right tackle, one of the emotional leaders of this team. Taylor Decker has been a rock for years, but he has played a lot of tough snaps, and we all know that bodies up front don't last forever without smart planning behind them. Adding Braxton Jones doesn't have to mean pushing anyone out the door. It means you go into the second half of the season with a credible swing tackle who can hold up on the blind side if Decker misses time, who can compete, who can let you manage snaps and injuries without watching the whole offense fall apart from one weak link on the edge. In this scheme, I actually like Jones more than some people might expect. Detroit doesn't want to spend the whole game in pure drop-back mode, asking the tackles to live on an island every snap. We want balance. Downhill runs, play action, movement of the pocket, screens, quick game. In that environment, an athletic tackle with Jones' footwork and redirection skills can thrive, especially when he's lined up next to a strong interior and a coaching staff that is obsessive about technique and effort. Campbell and his assistants have already shown they can take linemen other teams gave up on and turn them into real contributors. Plug that formula into a player who has already hit solid starter at times, and you can see the upside. Now, let's talk costs, because that's where this stops being a fantasy and becomes a real front office question. Everything about Braxton Jones' profile points to a reasonable price. Contract year, lost starting job. Clear sign that the Bears are moving forward with a younger tackle. That usually means you're discussing a mid-round pick, maybe with some conditions tied to playing time or performance. For a contender that believes it can make noise in January, that is exactly the risk you're supposed to take. Limited financial commitment, no massive draft capital, and the option to re-sign the player if he fits your culture or let him walk and potentially gain a compensatory pick later. Is there downside? Of course. Maybe the power issues don't improve. Maybe he struggles to anchor against the kind of fronts you see late in the year. Maybe he never becomes more than a decent stopgap. In that case, you burned a pick and some cap space. But compare that to the potential reward. If he hits, you've added a capable tackle for the stretch run, stabilized depth at one of the most fragile spots on the roster, and possibly found a longer-term piece for the post-Decker era without paying premium prices. There's also a human side that matters. This Lions locker room has become a destination for tough, competitive guys who want to be coached hard and respected at the same time. The offensive line room celebrates pancakes, finishes blocks through the whistle, and takes pride in breaking defenses mentally. Dropping Braxton Jones into that energy, with Sewell and Decker setting the tone, and Campbell preaching physical football every single day, might be exactly what he needs to get back to his best level. Sometimes all lineman needs is clarity, clear rules, clear expectations, and the feeling that his style of play is valued, not questioned every week. So here's where I stand as we inch closer to the deadline. This isn't a move that would dominate national headlines, but it's exactly the kind of trench decision that tells me a team is serious about winning. Braxton Jones is a lower-tier starter right now, with very real strengths in pass protection, with tape and numbers that say he can hold his own, and with enough room to grow in the right system. Put him behind our starters. Let him compete. And you give yourself one more answer for when the season gets ugly and everyone is banged up. Before I close this video, I want to bring you into the conversation. As a Lions fan, how would you feel if Detroit pulled the trigger on a deal for Braxton Jones at a fair price? Would you see it as a smart, blue-collar move that keeps golf clean and protects this offense when it matters most? Or would you rather see those picks go to another position entirely? Tell me in the comments what package you'd be comfortable offering and how you'd see him fitting into this line, because that says a lot about the kind of team you want to see on the field. To wrap it up in one clear take, I see Braxton Jones as a classic contender's target. Not a star, but a proven tackle with good movement skills, strong pass block metrics, and a very realistic trade cost, who makes special sense for the Lions because of our identity in the trenches and the way this staff develops offensive linemen. If the compensation stays reasonable and the medicals check out, I'd absolutely be in favor of this front office picking up the phone and seeing how far the Bears are willing to go. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more quick updates and deep dives on every rumor around our Detroit Lions, make sure you subscribe to Lions News Fan Report. Hit like, share this with another fan who loves the big guys up front, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything as we head toward the trade deadline.